So this is the problem. You know, in Buddhism we say there's two problems, actually. There's two problems, there's two things that are in our way when it comes to happiness. The first one, I've got it, thanks. First one is self-cherishing. And that will be the target of tonight's talk, mostly, is to how to live a life that's less self-cherishing, less selfish and more interested in others. And this is one half of the secret of happiness. This is one half of the secret of happiness. And it's not just Buddhism that teaches this, of course. Every authentic religious tradition has always said, you know, think about other people. Love your neighbor as yourself, right? You heard that before? Which Swami said that? See, yeah, that's Jesus. You know, they all say the same thing. Ultimately, they're saying the same thing. And the reason that they're saying the same thing when it comes to things like, you know, be less selfish, be more selfless, is because it works. Is because it's the real secret to happiness. And you go, well, no, nobody's ever said that to me. They've always said if you're interested in being happy, you have to look out for number one, right? That's the heresy. That's the heresy of modern greed and egotism and consumer capitalism. That's the devil speaking. The reason that it's the devil is it doesn't work. See, it doesn't work. How's it worked out so far? 60 years of consumer capitalism. Are we happier? Are we happier yet? The average income has doubled. Accounting for inflation, the average income in America has doubled since the 1950s. We got everything. We got all the stuff that, you know, I remember my dad bringing home the first television. I was like 5 years old. They had, you know, this television this big, black and white, you know. You actually had to go and turn it on the thing, you know. You had to actually go to the machine to turn it on. You didn't just go like that. You know. Now everyone's got a television. 99% of American households have at least one. 70-some% have two or more. You see? You know, everyone's got everything. We got all, now they have to invent stuff that we didn't even know, you know, we couldn't even imagine, you know. We travel quite a bit. Nowadays you go onto the airplane and you can continue shopping. So, no, the airports, of course, are all shopping malls now. Look around. The airports are all shopping malls. They've gone from the institutional model of like hospitals and schools. They used to be like kind of modeled on hospitals and schools. And now they're all modeled on the shopping mall. And then you get on the plane and you can continue shopping. You just look in the thing in front of you and there's the Sky Mall, right? Sky Mall. And Sky Mall Sky Mall has things, it has gadgets you couldn't imagine, right? You didn't even know you needed them. We've run out of stuff, you know, we've run out of stuff to buy. So they invent stuff, you know, like things that you can put your iPod in that are waterproof so that when you take a shower, you can listen to your iPod and not get it wet. Alarm clocks that fly. Yeah, they fly. When they go off, they fly around the room, so you have to get out of bed to chase them down. Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. All kinds of stuff like that, right? My favorite is the one for people who are hard of hearing, who don't want to look like people who are hard of hearing. So they have a fake Bluetooth gadget that's actually a hearing aid. No kidding, I'm not kidding. I couldn't make this up, right? So that you actually are like, you're looking like you're, you know, kind of like everyone else, cool and hip and stuff like that. But you don't have to say, huh, all the time, huh? So, you know, it's like that. We're at that level of, you know, where we got everything. And they go, no, I don't have everything. I don't have a black iPod. I only have a white iPod. I don't have the iPad yet. I only have the iPhone and the iPod and the this and the that. I don't have, you see? And it's just, when are we going to have enough? When do you think? When is it going to be enough already? So the self-cherishing, you know, the self-cherishing is encouraged by the society. Over and over and over again, we're encouraged to just want more, to think about ourselves more, to be greedy. And it doesn't work. The rate of depression has increased at exactly the same rate as the rate of prosperity. Now it's something like 10% of all adults in America are on some form of antidepressants. 10%, okay? And the richer we get, the more depressed we are. Do you think there's a correlation? You think there's possibly a correlation? Of course, right? Of course. Because here's how it works, okay? You know, they say, well, if only you got this, you'd be happy. If only you had more money, you'd be happy. If only you had a refrigerator, you'd be happy. That's what they say in the 50s, right? And then we got everything, and then we go, wait, I'm not happy. I got everything, and I'm not happy. And then the big plunge happens, a big kind of crash happens. Oh my God. Then happiness, I guess, isn't possible. Because I pursued this rainbow to its end, and instead of finding the pot of gold, it's just a stinking bunch of poo-poo. Not happy. All right? So people crash. They have this big depression. So this is the alternative to greed. The alternative to seeking happiness through greed is to run a car bomb into your self-cherishing and stop thinking about yourself all the time and think about somebody else, which is the secret of happiness, okay? So in case something happens and we don't finish the talk or whatever, just cut to the bottom line, okay? If you're interested in happiness, stop thinking about your own happiness all the time and think about somebody else's happiness, and that's the secret of your happiness. Should I say it again, or just because sometimes you hear that and you go, wait a minute, you got it all confused. If you're interested in happiness, if you're interested in your happiness, stop thinking about your happiness all the time, and think about somebody else's happiness, which will result in whose happiness? Your happiness, okay? That's the way it works. That's the truth, okay? That's the secret. That's the real secret to happiness. Real secret in happiness isn't in the iPad. The real secret in happiness isn't in most every one of the best-selling self-help books, right? The New York Times, I think do they still do this? The New York Times has like a whole section for best-selling self-help books. They have best-selling novels, and they have best-selling self-help books. And almost all the self-help books are not self-help at all. If they're teaching you to think about yourself more as self-help, that's not self-help at all. The problem is not that we think about ourselves too little, such that we need a self-help book to help us concentrate on thinking about ourselves some more. We even have magazines, right? You go to the newsstand, you can buy a magazine called Self Magazine. So that, in case you hadn't thought about yourself enough during the course of the day, you can get a magazine and read it at night, how to think about me some more. What about me? What about me? See? This is wrong-headed. This is not working. They should have other magazine. Where's the other magazine, you see? There's only self-mag. Where's the other magazine? Little tips on how to help other people more. Little tips on how to stop being so selfish, and how to be more altruistic. Little tips, five ways to make your life more altruistic. They don't have book magazines like that. They're not teaching the truth. They're not teaching on the real methods of being happy. And the real methods of being happy have been taught for centuries, for millennia. It's not news. There's nothing news about the real secrets of being happy. There's all olds. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Do not do unto others as you would not have them do unto you. What goes around comes around. You shall reap what you sow. See, that's not news. That's olds. Right? And it has nothing to do with increasing your self-cherishing. It has to do with turning it around. See, turning it inside out, inverting it, and start having other cherishing. See, who can I take care of? Who can I think about? Who can I help? Which results in whose happiness? Your own. So that's the first problem, self-cherishing. The next problem, they say, is the belief that things have self-existence. And we may talk about this later in the course of the night if we make it.